My question is, can choosing low accumulating cultivars of forage grass reduce transfer of radioactive contaminants? And hopefully I will be able to tell you whether that's the case or not by the end of the presentation. And I work with lots of people. So I'm based at CH and at Nottingham University, but I also have lots of collaborators at Aberystwyth University and at Science and Advice for Scottish Agriculture. And I couldn't do my work without the collaboration of those people. So for those of you who don't know, there are various places in the world which are contaminated with radioactive isotopes. These include Chernobyl in Ukraine, where they had a nuclear power plant accident in 1986, and Fukushima in Japan in 2011. And these have lots of radioisotopes which have different half-lives, but primarily in the long term the problems come to humans from cesium and from strontium. And cesium is very similar in a chemical way to potassium, and strontium is very similar in a chemical way to calcium, and therefore they are integrated into biological systems really quite easily. And so what kind of happens is that the cesium and strontium is in the soil. That cesium and strontium is taken up by plants because they think it's nutrients. And so the plants can then be eaten by us or be eaten by animals, and then we eat animal products or the plants themselves. And actually, following the Chernobyl accident, cow's milk has been the most contributing to human radioactive dose. And so that's quite important. And it's very important to say that not all plant species take up the same amount of these radioisotopes. But also within species, between cultivars, there are also differences in uptake. And that won't come as a surprise to you as plant scientists. And so last year we did a meta-analysis. We looked at lots of experiments, all the experiments that you could find that ever looked at intervarietal variation in cesium and strontium uptake, with 27 plant species. And basically, on average, from these experiments, you get twofold variation between the highest accumulating cultivar and the lowest accumulating cultivar. So you can reduce cesium and strontium sort of transfer up the food chain by twofold, just by planting a different cultivar. And that's pretty good news, to be honest. And so what we've done is done some experiments using stable cesium and stable strontium. They're not radioactive. And using 4 grass species, which are main forage grasses, particularly for cows, looking at milk. So we've looked at perennial ryegrass, Italian ryegrass, hybrid ryegrass, and tall fescue. And I have rather a lot of plots which are kindly grown for me by the guys at IBERS in Aberystwyth and in Sasa in Edinburgh. About 2,200 plots, and I have taken samples spring and summer 2013 and 2014, which you can imagine is rather a lot of samples. And most of those are in Aberystwyth, and then some of them are in Edinburgh. And I won't talk to you about that because you had a lovely introduction to that yesterday. But what I will show you is some of our results. So this is just from spring 2013. And what you can see is that there's actually really quite a lot of variation when you start looking at a lot of cultivars in cesium uptake. We use concentration ratio, which is to do with what you get in the plant over what you get in the soil to try and get rid of site differences. And basically, in hybrid ryegrass, you get 16-fold variation. And in perennial ryegrass, you get 30-fold variation. So you can reduce the amount of cesium by 30-fold just by planting the lowest accumulating cultivar, which, let's be honest, is pretty good news. For strontium, it's a slightly different story. As you can imagine, strontium, being very similar to calcium, is very strongly controlled by the plant. And therefore, you do get some variation, but it is smaller than it is for cesium. But, you know, a reduction of strontium by threefold just by planting a different cultivar, that's not bad news, really. That's pretty good in a sort of contamination situation. But what we've done now is to try and focus on whether this is stable, whether this is consistent over site and over time and between seasons. And so we focused on hybrid ryegrasses, which have been grown in both sites to try and sort of understand whether this is consistent over location. These are some of my results. Basically, it becomes smaller when the intercultivar variation becomes smaller when you have fewer cultivars. That's not going to come as a surprise to you guys. But it's still rather large, so you can still get maybe up to 8.9 fold variation in cesium concentration ratios, and a mean of sort of 4.1, something like that. And is there consistency? We've done some statistical tests to look at consistency, and yes, there are 4 varieties that are consistently low accumulators of cesium, so this is very good. Strontium, as you can imagine, the variation is smaller, but there are consistent varieties for strontium as well that are low accumulating. There's 5 of those, and there is 1 variety that has low accumulation of both of these elements. So basically, this is really, really good news. So the question, can we choose low accumulating varieties to reduce transfer? I think yes, we can. We can do it. It can be very large, and it's shown to be consistent in some cultivars. This is good news. But also, as part of my work, because we use stable isotopes, we look at lots of nutrients all at the same time. We use ICP-MS, and so we get sort of 30 nutrients when we do our analyses. And we can also look at some other stuff at the same time as looking for this cesium and this strontium. So can we use varieties to get some happy cows? Well, I don't know how much you guys know about livestock production, but cows and sheep can get something called grass tetany, which is basically where they have hypomagnesia. They don't have enough magnesium. This can be due to low magnesium in the soil and in plants, but it can also be because potassium can inhibit magnesium in the rumen of the ruminants, and so it can be. You get this tetany index for forage, and you want to keep the tetany index under about 2.2. And so this is some crude data, so please don't ask me too much about this because we haven't quite analysed all of it yet. But basically, yes, we have some varieties which are below, and we can reduce the tetany index really quite significantly just by planting a different cultivar of grass. So this is also good news. And you get sort of variation of like threefold and twofold depending on which species you're talking about. And I will finish. I have to thank all the people that really helped me, so my funders and the people that I collaborate with as well. Thank you.